Oh yeah, I know about all that.
Johnny boy, you're going to jail. I don't know what to tell you.
What do you mean I'm going to jail? What is this asshole got nothing else better to do but sit there making up shit and blaming me for all his troubles in life? What an asshole.
You would be adjudicated guilty, which is a criminal conviction on your record. You would be sentenced to 21 months state prison with credit for all time served, which would be followed by 7 years of probation.
Watson pleaded guilty to beating a man from New Jersey inside a Miami gym in December of 2024. Police say the victim confronted Watson. The two argued, and after the victim pushed him, investigators say Watson responded by repeatedly striking him with a weightlifting belt.
So now we got bent over, that PDF file piece of shit, thinking he's in no retreat, no surrender, learning kung fu like an asshole from the ghost of Bruce Lee, all while he's shoving his cream of some young guy down his poor throat. Cause you know, he's falling in love with them.
When I used to go there, eventually the owner fell in love with me.
Well, while that shit's going on, and the world is making videos about it, not even mentioning his evil past, and giving him the fame he wants, we got Peggy, the other asshole, sitting in jail with nothing else better to do but get passed along from cell to cell getting pegged to no tomorrow, and then thinking about me. And I'm not even kidding you. He's trying to blame me for putting his ass in there.
Johnny boy, you're going to jail. I don't know what to tell you. They want to know whether John had any involvement in Hakeem's decision to travel to Miami.
So it looks like this little Peggy is getting really desperate sitting in his jail cell jerking off. And not desperate for some ass, because we know he's in the Disneyland of pegging that asshole, and that ass over there, it's very plentiful. So he's not desperate for that. But you know what he is desperate for? Finding a way out of this mess and for people to blame. And you know who he's thinking on blaming all this shit on now? Me. And I'm not fucking kidding you. He thinks that I took part in this scheme to send that poor 7-foot monster to that gym that caused the destruction of Peggy's life. They're sending a request to see all the communications between me and that poor monster from my phone, from his phone. They want to see it all to see if I had anything to do with all this bullshit. Now wait until you guys see all of this shit.
They'll probably be searching for messages showing whether John told Hakeem to go to Miami, encouraged him to challenge Wes physically, discussed filming it, or help coordinate what would happen afterward.
They told me I'm getting 20 years if I take that shit to trial. They told the judge, he said, you can win, you can lose. My lawyer said, you can win, you can lose. Do you want 20 years or 20 months? So we signed for the 20 months. We're still trying to negotiate a plea a little lower right now. That's why I'm still in transit. Still in transit. And I didn't complain once, homie. All I do is make you guys positive videos and think about you guys.
So the first thing I want to do is I think we all need to get together, say a prayer, like when you have dinner and you say prayers before dinner, We need to say a prayer for those COs, those poor COs in that jail where Peggy is. You know why? I was thinking, imagine all the shit they gotta see at night. They're going, at nighttime to check the cells to see what's going on. They see this head popping up and down, shaped like a cone head with his couple hairs now because he can't shave his hair. You see him flying in the wind. And it's Peggy doing his thing, getting passed along from cell to cell. And then the next morning, Peggy sees that same CO doing the walk of shame. I mean, the COs, they're scarred for life. So I thought it was fitting to start this all off with a prayer for them. So now, like I was saying earlier, Peggy, he's in court, the civil case now, because he's already serving 2 years for the plea agreement that he pled guilty on the monster. Well, while in the civil case, his lawyers just put in a request to ask for all the communications between me and the monster. Now, this is the request from Peggy's lawyers to the monsters requesting all the communications between him and me. The defendant, Wesley Watson, by and through his undersigned attorney, requests the plaintiff to produce inspection or copying of the offices of Correa and Martinez on or before the time prescribed by said rule the following: screenshot copies of any and all Instagram messages exchanged between you and Johnny Bravo for 24, 25, and 26. Secondly, screenshot copies of any and all text messages exchanged between you and Johnny Bravo for 24, 25, and 26. And then lastly, copies of any written form of exchange of communication between you and Johnny Bravo. So they're requesting a copy of any time that me and the monster spoke. And like I said, I don't want them to see all this shit because there's a lot of dirty shit they ain't gonna like to see. They want a copy of all that shit. Now when I saw this, I'm thinking, I'm like, why do they want to see all the shit that I was talking to him, right? And obviously they know I spoke to him because that's how I got the video. The monster gave it to me, right? Now this is a part of the deposition between Peggy's lawyers and the monster. And they ask him, who is Johnny Bravo? He's an online media personality. Did you share the video with Mr. Bravo? Monster says, yes, sir. I just asked you that question and you said no, sir. So have you shared the video, sir, with other people? Monster says yes. How many people have you shared the video with? Mr. Bravo. Anyone else? No, sir. So I decided to reach out to my lawyer and ask him what he thought they want from my life.
Johnny boy, you're going to jail. I don't know what to tell you. Just kidding, guys. All right, so to break down the legal aspect of why they're requesting, our boy John's messages here, let's go through it. Now, they're likely requesting the messages because they want to know whether John had any involvement in Hakeem's decision to travel to Miami, confront Wes, record the encounter, or later pursue the civil case. So in plain English, they're looking for evidence that this confrontation may have been planned or encouraged beforehand. They'll probably be searching for messages showing whether John told Hakeem to go to Miami, encouraged him to challenge Wes physically, discussed filming it, or helped coordinate what would happen afterward.
Can you guys believe that shit? I mean, just imagine Peggy in that cell, bored, nothing better to do, thinking, you know what? I think John sent the monster to me, destroyed all my life, put me in jail, took my money. I mean, how desperate can this asshole get? Well, after that request was sent there, right? Peggy's own lawyers reached out to me on Instagram and they asked me for my messages too. And I asked my lawyer, I said, listen, should I give him the messages? And you know what he told me? He goes, John, you know what I would tell him? Tell them to fuck off. Don't give them shit.
As John will tell you, I told him to tell them to fuck off and not respond. But ultimately, if he chooses to respond, that's his call.
But I sat back. I thought about it. But he said, it's up to you. And I sat there and I thought about it. And I was like, you know what? I don't want people blaming me for shit that I didn't do. And I don't want to get dragged to court more than I have to on this because I'm already going for other part of the case. So I said, you know what? Let me show them a couple messages because just enough to show them that the only time I reached out to this monster was after the event happened. I didn't know who this guy was prior to that. In fact, Peggy himself, like an asshole, he posted the monster, his Instagram on his story after, right? Because he was trying to prove to everyone he wasn't special ed and he was some rapper and he blanked out the profile name. Well, if you know how to dig for shit, and you guys know I know how to dig for a lot of shit, I found his real profile, I reached out to him, and this is what I said. So this is the first time I reached out to the monster on DM, which is January 1st, 2025. First, my man, I hope that you're recovering and you're okay. Secondly, I'm a YouTuber and journalist that has been covering the Wes Watson story for a few months now. I also work with the mainstream news such as blank, blank, and blank because they're a bunch of assholes and I don't want to give them any clout. I wanted to see if you'd be interested in talking to me about the incident. This is my YouTube channel if you want to take a look. I really do hope you're recovering and you're okay, first and foremost. Sorry for my grammar errors, I'm using text-to-speech. And then the monster says, good morning, Johnny. Thank you for your concern and well wishes. I'm doing fine. I've been following some of your videos from the incident. I appreciate your careful and detailed coverage. I'll tell you whatever it is you want to know. So I sent those same messages that I just showed you guys to Peggy's lawyers. I didn't send them the whole conversation because there's a lot of dirty shit in there, a lot of name calling. You know, when I think of Peggy, I come up with a lot of crazy shit. And I don't know if I want to poison their mind with all that stuff. So I just sent them the things that I was thinking I should to show them, listen, assholes, I had nothing to do with it. So you make sure you go tell that little Peggy sitting in that cell, John didn't do any of the shit that you're thinking he did.
Now, they might also be looking for statements from Hakeem that conflict with what he later told police, what he later testified to under oath, or what he alleged in the lawsuit. Now, to be absolutely clear, it does not mean John did anything wrong, quite the opposite. Now, journalists and content creators routinely communicate with people involved in stories. Simply discussing Wes, requesting an interview, or encouraging Hakeem to confront him verbally would not make John responsible for the fight. But if the messages showed that John and Hakeem specifically planned a physical confrontation, that could help Wes's civil defense. It could support arguments that Hakeem traveled to Miami intending to provoke or initiating a fight, that he was not an unsuspecting victim, and that his own conduct, contributed to the incident.
So saying that, I love clowning these assholes, exposing them for the pieces of shit that they are and for the world to see. And I like editing and filming and making stories about it, showing everybody in the way that I know how to do it. But one thing I'll never do, I don't fabricate, I don't make up shit, and I don't show shit without evidence. So if these assholes don't want me making these videos and showing everybody the pieces of shit that they are, stop doing this shit to yourselves, and then I won't have to make any videos on you.
To sum it all up, this request is much less about proving, any involvement from John's perspective or any broad fraud scheme, and more about just discovering whether John was, a neutral source, commentator, coordinator, or potentially a witness with relevant information.
Understand this. It ain't about me. It never has been. My story, my life, my movie defeats all. If they made a movie about my life, we would watch that shit fucking thoroughly. This shit would be like a new Belly, a new Scarface. And we know it. I'm pulling up Phantom, Bugatti Phantom. The fuck? And this is the whole point.
Guys, thanks for watching. Please hit like on my video.